A much easier proposition said than done, but it turns out we're not even
Oh,
going to
wow.
see the snake. Sensei breaking out the ZSS, which we actually have seen a few times in these brackets. Final destination for game number 1. So on this flat ground, ZSS and Hero, who do you estimate has the advantage here?
I would say ZSS has a strong advantage here. Everything that I said about Snake, again, a lot of the issues that Snake would have had to deal with is that he's not necessarily as quick, as Hero is. So his burst options are going to be pretty limited. ZSS has all burst options. IMO, being able to jump in with Nair and keeping Hero at bay with Zera and stuff like that. It's definitely going to be a challenge for Hero. But let's see what Sola has in stock here. Those two.
I mean, that's the thing. You might be expecting the curveball, but I mean, Sola is swinging away anyway and connecting pretty regularly. That's one way to do it. Yeah, big thing across the stage going boom. The shoe is on the other foot, and right now it doesn't look to be fitting Sensei all that well. Sola is up 3 stock for 2. Only 44 percentage points worth of damage here, Koopa.
Yeah, no. Sensei's definitely had a rough time getting off to the right start here. And obviously, when you give Hero time to read the menu and determine what they have to work with, you're more likely to be on the raw end of a very powerful spell.
Yeah, and just the amount of spells that you have, that bounce, perhaps a little bit more use against Snake, but you're never going to complain about having that. Certainly not against ZSS, taking Paralyzer off of the board. That back air is going to send Sola off of the stage, but certainly not out of it until you get caught on your landing with that Plasma Whip. So, yeah, you never quite know when it comes to Sensei. They've definitely shown quite a bit of resiliency, especially with the ZSS, but I don't know. They've been going Snake this whole time, and they're needing to catch up quite a bit, honestly, here.
Yep, but able to get on the board there with the Plasma Whip, but 102 already on the docket here, Stu. ZSS, again, doesn't really do much for you in regards to durability. She's definitely near the end of her rope on the second stock if Sola plays his cards right, but let's... okay, I was going to see... Yeah, no, he did.
We got you, man. We're all good. So, yeah, so that's going to be stock number 2, I guess. Rather abrupt ending to that, but then again, this is ZSS. You were one of the lightest characters in the game, always kind of have been, and in fact still are. I want to say in the lower 20th percentile in terms of weight, but that's really, it's not how much weight you have, it's what you can do with it, and really there's no shortage of options when you're trying to win neutral, certainly recover against a character like Hero, who, even though definitely has versatility in the range of attacks, the fact that they can't choose what they're going to get every single time certainly hurts them, and you're really relying on the amount of options that you have to kind of come through for you, especially when you can move like Sensei does, but you get thwacked. Excuse me, Sola making a fool out of me, and I'll fully own that, Koopa.
Yeah, and you got hit by the slow one too, man. Like that makes you that one stings with you a bit. Anytime I get thwacked or whacked, I just feel like what chain text did I not send out that could have broken this and make me feel a little bit better? But that is unfortunately not the case here.
Yeah, no, hey, that kind of happens sometimes where you're you're expecting we're making the baseball analogy first at some point where you can't be expecting fastball after fastball, but then it's that slow little changeup that kind of gets you, and that'll just eat you alive, and quite literally so in the case of Sensei, where now Sola is up 1-0, and we're seeing the switch back to Snake. I have to say I agree with the call.
Yeah, again, maybe try to leave with something different. Obviously, it is Wi-Fi, and I don't think ZSS on paper was a bad choice there. It's just a matter of, you might not be as polished in this matchup. It might have just been better to go for something that you might not be comfortable with versus, trying to fit the square peg in a round hole by playing a secondary. But, we'll see if the Snake is indeed a better choice here for Sensei.
Certainly seems to be I mean, it can't really go any worse than the last game in terms of how Sola was able to play around the ZSS. And I wouldn't say that that's necessarily the fault of Sensei. Perhaps it wasn't the most optimal ZSS, but also it's one that we have seen do quite well in these brackets. Sola simply being able to adapt to it. Perhaps a little bit of matchup familiarity goes a long way in that sense. But yeah, if you're Snake, you're probably wanting to use that dash attack, trying to stay out of that range of the sword, which obviously a little bit of startup to that thing and on most of the moves, but you're not exactly hurting unless your feet are not on the ground, which Sensei will kill you every time.
Yeah, and Sensei, again, doing a great job using that durability of Snake. Again, we talked about how the survivability late into stocks for ZSS isn't necessarily in her repertoire, but in Snake's repertoire, for sure. He's definitely a thicker-bodied man.
That might actually be one of the most crucial moments for Sensei in this set, considering that they had bounce, which in theory kind of just completely neuters Snake. But Sensei deciding, you know what, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm just going to connect with a few back airs, get the jabs in, get the grabs, and show that I am not afraid to play up close. Maybe you have a sword, but when I get within range of fisticuffs, that's when you're in trouble because, yeah, I'm one of the more aggressive Snakes you'll ever see, and you better believe there is no safe space when Sensei is around.
No, I agree. C4 is online, though, so Sola definitely has to be mindful of that. Goes for the Acceleratle, though, so Sensei's going to have to be careful as Hero can reach new heights and breaks through the, on that double jump fair right there to take a slight lead here.
Gonna get the down throw, trying to get the follow-up, but Sola doing pretty good at dictating how Sensei is moving thus far, all things considered. Gonna get this recovery as well. Waiting out Nikita just on the ledge. Maybe that rocket running a little bit out of gas before the intended target, but yeah, Sensei, again, you're putting out a lot of hitboxes. Sola seems to be content to just kind of play around it and perhaps using some of Sensei's aggression against them, even though Sensei has evened things up. I think if you're Sola, you just kind of have to stay the course, and especially when you're manipulating the movement as well as you have been with the menus.
No, 100%, Stu. I definitely agree with you there. And just like that, Sensei able to even things up, going for broke with the fair right there. That could have been very, very dangerous, but Snake having a better than not recovery. I definitely think it's something that people kind of forget about, that he's, at least with the resources, recovery isn't that bad. Bounce on deck, though, so that's it's going to make things a little bit harder here for Sensei. He's going to have to rely a lot more on Snake's, boxing tools here.
Oh, yeah, but again, it really just comes down to how well you are able to execute on your tech chases, and Sensei has been doing so good. Is going to take aim and hit the bullseye with the Nikita. That is going to be a Game 2 victory for Solid Sensei. A solid victory for them as we're going to the last matchup of this best of 3 clip.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're going to be seeing a Game 3 here. This Chooks to Snake. Great choice right there. Snake on PS2. Phenomenal character. So we'll see what the counter pick's going to be here from Sola. It's going to be, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think giving yourself more platforms to play with, maybe a tri-plat, might work out in favor for you. But we'll see. It's all preference. It's all his preference here. Their preference, excuse me.
I mean, you're absolutely right about that. It's definitely going to come down to really just personal preference. Obviously, as you said, there is definitely an optimal way to play Snake, but some people kind of disagree as to whether that is, whether it really is on the sliding scale of play campy as heck or just be in someone's face. Generally leaning towards the former, but obviously people like Sensei opening up the possibility as we go to Pokemon Stadium for Game 3 that, you definitely want to be up close. You want to press the buttons that work so well. You want to be getting these kills with up tilt, and you're not going to do that unless you're right up on your opponent. So that sort of risk-reward assessment is so crucial when playing the tactical espionage smasher, and now as Sensei is going to have a little bit of room to maybe catch some landings on in the center of the stage if someone decides to zoom and does so errantly. well, there's just opens up a world of possibilities for Sensei as they're going to try to get their revenge here on Pokemon Stadium.
No, for sure. So again, pretty much an evenish game right here since they had a slight disadvantage, but already able to overcome that. Ooh, that could have been really risky for Sensei. They're going for a drop zone dare, but able to live to see the next day of it.
Not often that you are able to say that. Sola, I mean, has not really entered tournaments in quite some time. Entered one stock number 1. If you are Sola Sensei, maybe just a little bit more experienced in terms of tournaments all around, finishing in top 8 in the last 3 vacations, excuse me, and yeah, placing 5th in last week's the week ago. That fusion 10 days ago. There's an easier way of saying that, Koopa, I promise you. But yeah, when you're able to beat players like Sourdough and Andromeda on a regular basis, you're generally okay. Oh, and Rickles, by the way, has a win over them. Yeah, that happened at Galaxy Gambit, no less.
What a guy! Yeah, Sensei's a good player, man. Like we've been talking about it. Right now, he's doing a great job running away with the second game right now. Poor Sola, not able to get anything generated. Waits there for the roll up till it will obliterate that second stock. And Sensei firmly in the driver's seat right now, Stu.
Opportunity presents itself to those who are prepared, and that roll read is exactly what Sensei needed to put Sola on the brink of losing their winner's side run. Now, Sensei trying to book their spot in Winners Final, where Raptor, the Meta Knight, will await. It is going to be a tough ask, Koopa, but certainly not impossible for Sola, especially if you're keeping it at a percentage like this. It's an area of opportunity. Wouldn't say that it's necessarily a great one, but, well, you got to start somewhere, right?
No, for sure. You got to take it one stock at a time in these situations. You can't get ahead of yourself. If you start watching a scoreboard, you're just going to be paying less attention to what's going on in front of you. Right now, it's hard not to feel that way, though, Stu. Sensei is definitely on the right end of history right here. But Hero does have that, the insane comeback mechanics of their own with, thwack and the critical hit stuff. Oh. But it doesn't matter when you can do Nair 1 in the up tilt and Sensei moving on into Winners Finals of DNA.
And you saw Sola starting to mount a comeback just a little bit, but simply not enough. The gap was too wide to shorten. Sensei getting a lock on Sola's movement and was able to take full advantage. They're going to be moving on by a score of 2-1, a well-earned victory for the Jersey Snake.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The game 1 ZSS again. Feel it out. You definitely want to make that choice game 1 versus like game 2 or something like that. So good on him or Sensei for testing the waters and realizing, this isn't going to work out. Going back to the tried and true, the Snake looked really clean. Outside of for a couple of seconds in that third game, Sensei was firmly in control the entirety of that set. So, good on him. Moving on to Winners Finals here. Again, a small but strong DNA this week, Stu.
Exactly. I mean, what we lacked in quantity, no shortage of quality, as is the case, generally speaking, for the tri-state region. And folks, if you're willing to entertain us, well, we're glad to entertain you. I don't know if we have time, but Chris, can we real quick hit him with the ad slides? MHG, obviously, is the proud partner with the United E-League Federation. Do we have time, or is that you saying no? Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Sorry. I was getting ready.
UEF.GG. Yeah, holding us all in suspense,
I got a
man.
new one for you today, too. That's why I was getting ready after this.
Ooh.
Gotcha. Yeah, UEF.GG, the United E-League Federation. Earning opportunities available for players, commentators, organizers, live producers, and more. You want to know more? Hit up the Cord. Discord.link/UEF. And, of course, a proud partner with Master Hand Gaming.